My name is Rupert. Please, a real champion.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.
Welcoming all champions to the podcast. And if you're not a champion, well, get your shit together, dude. This is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve, all a Brewski.
Champion.
Yes, you are a champion, Brewski. Welcome to the show, Steven.
Hi. The night is a puppy, as we say, meaning the day is not over, so you still have time to be a champion today, so get on it.
Yeah, please. I mean, we're asking nicely.
Please, a real champion.
See?
Don't upset Rupert, people. Don't upset us. Yeah, find us on the World Wide Web thing. TheVocalMinority.net is our website. However, I'm still convinced that people don't go to anyone's website anymore. Do you? I mean, it's all social media now. I go to someone's website.
Maybe, just maybe, if I hear a clip or somebody mentions the show to me, like I might go try and see if they have a website, you know. Otherwise, yeah, I haven't been to many websites. I mean, other than like Amazon.
Yeah, but you do that on an app. You don't go to Amazon.com on your web browser, right?
Sometimes I do because, Amazon has a thing where if you put the actual address into your browser and then do a backslash, I think it's smile, and then another backslash, everything you buy on Amazon donates to a charity of your choice. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Although that's a scam. Whenever you go to the store and they're like, do you want to round up to donate to charity or do you want to give $1 to charity? You shouldn't do that.
I'm done giving you a tax break, dude. I mean,
Yes.
I'll take my tax break, please.
Exactly. You're letting them deduct your dollar off their taxes. Just give the dollar yourself to the charity. Don't give it to someone else to give. You're giving them the deduction.
People look at me like I'm an asshole, too. I tell you what, every time I'm at Goodwill, the lady will be like, that's $4.98. Would you like to round up for charity for job training? And I'm like, no. And I can just hear people, what?
I did donate 20 extra cents from my food from Panda Express last night.
You did? And tell us how you did it.
That panda doesn't need your tax deduction. Okay?
Well, I was giddy. I was about to get chow mein and orange chicken. And
caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm sitting there looking at my food because I drove by the Panda Express. And even though it's shitty Chinese food, it's kind of like, I want Panda Express, and I couldn't get it in my head.
Brewski turns into a high roller. Money everywhere. I got Panda Express coming.
Yeah,
That is funny.
For everyone.
So I was
Caught up in the moment.
I was all giddy in my chow mein fervor that I was like, sure, you can have the 20 cents. Why not?
Yeah. I get
That's
it.
understandable. So, but yeah, find us on the social media platforms. We're on them. Some people like us, some people don't. We're doing our thing though, and we're on all of them: TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever the fuck that thing's called nowadays. Facebook, what else? Reddit, YouTube. So yeah, find us and comment and reply. By the way, what's with you pussies? Where I start poking back, you just disappear.
Continue to fight. Come on, we need more people fighting in this world, not less.
Exactly. We're just trying to be lovers. We're trying to spread the love of liberalism and common sense and whatever else we're into around here. So.
Vote blue no matter who. It's just always something we say. Listen, we tape 2 podcasts each and every week. We already taped 1. And I would like to say that, I brought out women and summertime and things are going great as far as the eyes and talent goes. Okay. This is my question.
I love that you're running a draft. Talent.
I mean, it is, dude. You got to have a talent show once in a while.
Right,
so,
sure.
Let me ask you this. Have you guys heard about this whole the man or bear debate? All right. It seems to be a hot topic online, especially on, social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, stuff like that. This is the question. This is thrown out to women only, and they are making posts about it and giving their answer. And a hypothetical question: would you rather be out in the woods alone with a bear or a stranger that's a man?
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is bullshit or not, but a majority is saying a bear. Okay. Like,
I understand that. Yeah.
I know what I'm going to get, and
the bear may maul you. It's not going to rape you. I get it.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think they've ever been around actual wildlife because they think bears are all like Yogi Bear or Boo Boo and everything like that. They want to steal the picnic basket. No, they want to rip your fucking throat out. What they want to do.
No, I know they do. I think the question is asked in that spirit of like a wild bear that could kill you or a strange man.
Bears are wildly misunderstood. They're not actually man-eaters. I've been up close to bears many, many times around here. They don't actually go after you unless you're threatening them in some way.
But did you say, Steve, if it's that time of the month, that bears are attracted to women because they can smell the blood?
You can smell the menstruation. Yes, I saw that in the documentary called Anchorman. That was good. Putting the whole station in jeopardy.
This just makes me think, dude, that we are in this is maybe I shouldn't even say this is a new world, but this is a new place we find ourselves in where we are acknowledging some of the dangers of men that we haven't said out loud in a long time. Okay.
Sure. Listen, being in the dating world of late, I have said many times on the show that you other guys are making it easy for me because you're overtly creepy, hostile, sexual. Like if you're just a nice, normal guy, you shine above all of these other assholes and creeps that really are all over the place. And this is rippling into dating apps and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then even when you are a nice guy, like the two of you, you have to worry about, do they think it's fake or, do they think I'm trying to get over on them or whatever, so.
Absolutely. Because the bad guy would say he's a good guy. So when the good guy says they're a good guy, you make the woman assume they're a bad guy. But the problem is there's so many bad guys out there that the good guys, get lumped into it unfairly.
That's right. And especially, like all relationships, I mean, they hold their hardships, whether it's a marriage or dating. Obviously, once you are in a marriage, hopefully you know the person well enough that you know their intention. But I came across this article that I was reading, and it's a list of romantic gestures that are actually creepy is the title of it, okay? Yeah, I thought, God damn, dude. I mean, now the romantic, gestures are being taken the wrong way. Like, I don't know if I can turn left, right, go backwards, forwards. Like, I don't know what move to make anymore at this point.
Yes. I have said before, the Me Too era it's a good thing in so many ways. Obviously, women shouldn't be assaulted on a job interview or any of these, predatorial kind of things going on with the Me Too era. But it has made it really difficult for the nice guy to try to say nice things or do nice things and not come off as creepy. You can't go hit on a woman in Starbucks because she's going to think you're some sort of predator. So, yeah, it makes it really hard. And I have a very long history in my life of trying to do romantic gestures. Because apparently Hollywood is bullshit. This notion of love at first sight is heavily mocked and ridiculed nowadays, including on this show.
Not everything's a rom-com,
No, like we have been taught that men are supposed to be romantic and do these grand gestures, and that's how you win over Romeo and Juliet. And it's really bullshit. I've heard from many men over the course of my life that try these things, and 9 times out of 10 it backfires as you're being aggressive or creepy or whatever it is. And so, yeah, women, in a way, you kind of foster the pervs and the predators to rise to the top because the good guys are like, I don't want to be accused of Me Too or being aggressive. I'm just going to lay back here then. Never mind.
We'll see what happens. I'm just going to sit and wait for somebody to come to me. So, because some of these are interesting as I just kind of glanced over some of this list. And the first one on there is not letting an ex go. Okay. And this is what it says about it. We've all been broken up with where we still had feelings for the other person and wish things could have turned out differently. We know it's going to take a long time to get over them. However, at some point, we have to accept reality and know when to walk away. If you have an ex that's broke up with you who's still trying to convince you otherwise, this action might translate as creepy, not romantic.
So wait, you're saying if a woman dumps me and I do some grand romantic gesture, that would be creepy?
Yes. Women say, like, I've heard a lot of women say, whether it's on TV or in my personal life with friends or whatever, like, when a relationship is tumultuous and coming to an end, that they say, like, aren't you going to fight for me? Yeah,
no.
Don't fight for me. Let the ex go. And I mean, I guess you have a month or two, maybe. I don't know. That's what I would think. But at some point, like the Shin song, caring is creepy.
Interesting. Listen, I think it's a small window. When you've been dumped, if you're going to pull some romantic gesture, I can't imagine that's going to sway very many women. Maybe I'll give you one within a week or two, like you're saying, but yeah, I don't know. To me, romantic gestures are on the courtship side of things, not the you've been dumped and you're. What is that going to do? Or romantic
or continuing the relationship. Like every so often, you do something extra special for your partner to show them that you still love them now as much as you did when you two first came together. Yeah.
No, and I've done things like that during a relationship where I feel like the woman's like, "Oh, that's nice, thanks. Anyways, what are we doing for dinner? And what are we doing for this?" I'm like, "Oh, glad I went through all that effort. Thanks."
Well, now it's an expectation, of just like, sometimes you do shit for people. That's a great sign that you might be in a bad relationship, is if you go above and beyond for somebody. And, every once in a while, I get it, just with little shit. Rachel's really busy at work, got a ton on her mind. And if I do something that I would have thought there would have been a bigger reaction to, and I don't get it, like, I can understand that. We live a busy life. But if you really make a grand gesture to somebody and go out of your way to make something nice for them, and you get what Steve just said, like, "Oh yeah, thanks, what are we having for dinner tonight?" Fuck you.
Right. I would say you're beating it out of us, because then 6 months later you're going to go, "He never does any romantic gestures for me." So many women suffer from the Janet Jackson syndrome. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
And, men just seem to not be able to bank any goodwill in relationships.
That's not all true. I feel like I've, that I'm given grace a lot when I go through a period where I may have a lot going on, or I'm not feeling well because of my MS or something. Like, I'll notice, like, I've got a lot of grace stored up. Like, Rachel doesn't completely just immediately go off and like, "When are you going to get up and do this? When are you going to do that? You've not done this in a long time." So there is some grace built up. But if there's not, then it's probably, I don't know, it's probably a bad relationship.
I have this theory. I'll share it with you. Tell me your thoughts. I feel like men, like, if a woman does something nice for us, we keep a list going. Okay, these are the 10 nice things she's done. And then if she does something bad to us, we have a separate list. We're like, okay, she did 2 shitty things to me, but that's still a net gain of 8 nice things. So I'm just going to let sleeping dogs lie. I'm not going to bring it up. It's not a big deal. Your pros outweigh the cons. I feel like women don't cross the 2 lists over ever. They have a list going of the things you've done that piss them off, and a list of the good things, but they don't cancel the 2 out. You can do 10 nice things and 1 bad thing, is my point, and they will go off on you for that 1 bad thing, negating every good thing you've ever done.
Yes, I agree with you. Most of the time, I think generally speaking, that's probably true. After all, women are from Mars, men are from Venus, so we do things a little differently. But I will go back to a statement that my mentor and idol made at one point, Danny Holiday, God rest your soul. "You're only as good as your last break." He used to tell me that all the time, right? So I think that falls into relationships with women sometimes, is you're only as good as your last great gesture.
Yes. What have you done for me lately? Exactly.
Right. Yes.
And the Chris Rock bit about women love children and animals unconditionally. Men, they only love if you're providing a service, and you better keep that list updated constantly, because you don't get credits, or the credit only lasts 48 hours.
And at some point, I'll cry for the a middle-aged straight white male. People don't really understand that. Like, I'm not saying that I am abused and beat. I'm just saying these are the differences. That's all we're saying. These are the differences in relationships between men and women, right?
And you can cry for the middle-aged white man. That's what we are. It's like saying it's a first world problem. Well, we live in the first world, so it's a problem. I'm a middle-aged white man. I have problems, so let's not dismiss them.
No, I think you're right, dude. On a list of gestures that are actually kind of creepy, in comes whooping you on the doorstep.
Whooping you?
Yes, dude.
Is this like Whoopi from the old dating show or whatever?
Before I read this, without looking it up, Brewski, do you know what whooping means other than like I whooped that boy?
That's another thing I thought of, was kid getting spanked down south with like a switch or something like that.
Okay.
I think it's when you're banging in your Ring door camera. You're whooping it up.
Oh, okay. Let's see. You've been on a couple of dates with someone. and you're planning on a third date. However, midweek, you hear a knock on the door and come to find your date standing on your doorstep. They're holding flowers and came to see you just because they were in the neighborhood. Creepy or romantic? This one's checked creepy.
I've lived this scenario, okay? When I was early in my relationship with the Hindenburg, we'd been together for a month or two. She had a terrible day. Like, it was death in the family or something bad happened to her, right? And she was just, miserable and crying. And so 2 hours later, I show up on her front door with dinner and some flowers and like, hey, I'm here to, make it. She held that against me for 2 years after. That was weird. You just showed up at my house. Like,
oh, stop it.
Yes. Like, we already know each other. This wasn't our first date. I lived an hour away. I jumped in my car to come try to make you feel better on a bad day. And I'm the creep.
I would have dumped her ass immediately.
Yeah, well, hindsight, I should have.
Yeah.
Listen, you should know. Here's the thing that's telling, okay? Because if you know someone, like either of you guys, like if you're coming over to my house, like I'd hope for, like we've talked about before, like I'd hope for an hour heads up or whatever. But if you happen to come over, like there's no situation going on inside my house that I haven't been honest enough with you guys about that I wouldn't let you in and sit you down and have a beer and see what's on your mind.
Right. Even if I catch you off guard, you have to zoom out and realize I was doing something nice. I'm coming by to give you a beer and try to cheer you up. Like, why am I the bad guy?
And it'll probably be more understanding at that point. Like, oh, is your house a mess? Yeah, you're going through something shitty right now. I get it. Like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm actually here to try and make you feel better, so.
Yes.
But they say it's creepy.
You guys ever heard of Emily King? You ever come across her on social media stuff?
I don't think so.
Now, look her up. She's a female sort of relationship advisor, but she does it more so from the perspective of women. You should be cutting your men a little more slack, like you're being a little hard on them. And she did this whole thing where a woman posted a video saying, I went on like 2 dates with this guy, and I mentioned that I don't have kids, but that I have a cat. And so the guy sent me a Mother's Day card saying, this is from your furry little friend. You're the best cat mom there is. And I hear that new guy you're dating is really cute and funny. Like, happy Mother's Day. And this woman went off on the guy of how creepy this was, that he sent me this card. And Emily King was like, basically, the creep factor equates to how much the girl likes you. If she thinks you're awesome, she would have thought that gesture was phenomenal. If she's on the fence about you, she's going to think it's creepy.
Yeah, that can make sense.
And that's not fair, because why in one shade could this be a nice romantic gesture? In the other shade, I'm a big creep, sending you a Mother's Day card from your cat.
That's weird.
You think it's weird to send the card? Or
no, I mean, either you appreciate the gesture or you don't. It's not like one is better than the other,
Yeah, I mean, he didn't send the woman a severed cat head. I mean, he was trying to be a nice, cute, romantic guy, but no, you're creepy and perverted. You're going to go out with the guy that is going to abuse you or cheat on you and all that.
Because that's what they want.
Exactly. That is what so many women want, yes.
Because they want to be able to complain to their friends about how he's awful to me and that sort of thing. They don't like it if you're actually good to them. They'll say they do. They'll wait until they're like in their 50s. I want a man to treat me right. Oh, now you want that. Before you didn't want that because it wasn't exciting enough for you. Now you want to just, have a nice guy and hang out at home and drink tea and watch, I don't know, Matlock or whatever,
Sure. That's common, yes. But no, I'm saying, if you do the gesture, you're some sort of creep stepping over the bounds. If you don't do it, then you're an unromantic fool that doesn't deserve my love. Like, you're really painting nice guys into a corner, women.
Yeah. I mean, one of these gestures are scrutinized so heavily, right? I mean, I'm not saying you have to accept and love every gesture, but at the very least, you got that little card with the cat and everything. And you could have said, I'm not really into this guy. I think that's kind of weird. It doesn't need to be deemed creepy. Right. Because a guy's trying to show you that he likes you, and you're dating him. Okay.
Yes.
All right. This is next one on my list is kind of funny because it's the heading is kissing you to shut you up. Have you ever done it?
I've done forced oral to shut her up. Never kissed her.
No, I've never done
That's hilarious. Like, you're having an argument, you just start making out with her to try to shut her up.
If you've seen any romantic movie ever, you'll have seen at least one guy do this in a romantic interest. A lot of the time, it's on a doorstep, and more often than not, it's raining. However, this doesn't quite translate to real life. If you're trying to have a serious conversation with your date, the last thing you want is for them to overstep your boundary and stop you mid-sentence by kissing you. It's creepy and rude.
It's kind of funny. I'll just try stripping next time I'm in an argument and see if she takes the lead. But no, listen, if she's sitting there saying, you never do anything romantic or you never kiss me, and then you just lay one on her while she's ranting, maybe that would be a good scenario. But otherwise, it's pretty comical just to try to shove your tongue down her throat to shut her up.
Dude, I will. Hey, listen, you're in a relationship where you guys are still figuring each other out completely, right? So let's see. Why don't you try it, dude, and just see how, what's her name? Lincoln? Oh, yeah. Let's see how Kennedy reacts, okay? I didn't want to say her real name. That's why I was thinking.
Pick any president name. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Let me experiment with my fragile existence on this planet and my love life for our edification.
No, it's not. It's just to see. It's not for humoring the show, dude. And we're doing scientific experiments here to see if the data is correct. So,
and what if she's just like, my grandma died and I miss her so much? You're like, I don't want to hear this.
Yes.
Is that okay, or does that have to be bitching?
I think you're just trying to take her to another place. You're trying to ease her mind. It's all right, dude. Let's just try it, please. This next one, I think this comes with a caveat, okay? The heading of this is called "Watching You Sleep," which could be so creepy. But don't tell me that you've never been in bed with somebody that you have loved in your life, a partner, and seen them sleeping and thought about, watch them sleep for, 5 minutes or whatever, and thought how pleasant they look, and you think great thoughts about them. You've never done that?
No. Nope, never have.
You've never?
I glanced over to make sure she's asleep or something, or I thought, could I wake her up for some midnight romping in the sack or something? I've never, for an extended period, 5 minutes, you spend staring at them?
Listen, I don't know if you stare for 5 minutes, but you might be looking at her and then, holding her and then looking back down at her again, like having a little moment. You didn't ever have that with your kids where you watched them sleep and thought how peaceful and safe they look and how much joy they bring to your life? You've never had that moment?
Here's what I would say. If I've had a kid fall asleep in my arms, then, maybe there's a little staring longingly or thinking about their lives or whatever. I would say the same thing. I've had a woman fall asleep on my shoulder before where you kind of glance down. You're like, oh, this is kind of sweet, cute moment. But
right.
If you're just sleeping next to each other in bed, I may glance over and say,
I'm not saying you don't take your eyes off of her. I'm just saying, I guess the moment would be, I would, say it was 5 minutes long. And I don't know that even I have done that. I'm just saying, is it so creepy to look at your partner sleeping and think how sweet they are? Is that creepy?
It depends on the intent, If you're just,
I'm not gonna stuff a pillow on her face, dude. I'm just saying, I'm so in love with this person.
No, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, but like I said, more times than not, it's out of love, like you said, Nick.
That's right.
There's no nefarious undertones to it at all.
I've only done it one time outside the house,
Okay.
I mean, through the window. Okay. So it's not that great. Come on.
Listen, sometimes I look at them, unconscious there, and I think, should I loosen the gag? If I jerk off on her face, is she going to wake up? Is that going to be weird?
No, it's never weird when they're asleep. Listen,
have you ever told the woman, though, I was staring at you sleeping last night and thinking romantic thoughts, or do you know that's going to sound creepy and just keep it to yourself?
That's a funny question, dude, because I wouldn't shy away from saying, I saw you asleep last night and you look so peaceful. I would say that. I wouldn't use the word I was staring you or watching you sleep last night. This is what the article says. You've recently entered a new relationship relationship and have had your partner sleep over a couple of times. The last time, though, you had a strange feeling when you went to sleep. Felt like they were watching you drift off. While they might think it's romantic, it's anything but, which is why you should feel so uncomfortable about it. It's creepy.
I mean, sometimes you got to gauge, are the roofies kicking in yet? Is she
I know you've done it, dude. I know you've watched Kennedy sleep, dude. I know you've seen her asleep and thought, wow, she's, so, how much love am I feeling right now?
No.
You have to, dude.
I haven't. I mean, I can hear her snoring, so I know she's asleep. I don't need to look over there. I know what she looks like.
You've also told me that you looked over to make sure she's asleep, so now you could feel better about going to bed and snoring. So you're watching her.
That's a glance. That's not watching her. I'm not putting a mirror under her nose to see if she's, alive or not.
Nor am I, dude. Nor am I. Listen, I have never done anything creepy in my life. Okay? Listen.
9 times out of 10, watching someone sleep is probably going to come off as creepy. That's
okay.
Just a good rule of thumb in life.
Hey, give us a call on the comment line if you agree with Steve. It's 844-48-VOCAL.
Yes.
How about shouting their love from the rooftops? Like we've all been there feeling passionate about someone that we want to share it with. The whole world needs to know. For the most part, it is, figurative and simply a sign of being the honeymoon phase. However, your new partner might want to take this further and humiliate you.
What? Oh, wow. That's not a red flag at all.
Your new partner may want to take this further and humiliate you publicly by making their feelings known to everybody loudly and constantly. You've all seen, like, somebody will get on, like, the speaker on the plane and be like, that lady in 23C, her name's Rachel Reynolds, and I love that woman. We've seen that kind of thing before. That is embarrassing to people, right? Romantic? I don't know.
Well, I've done that on this show more than one time. So was I being creepy or was I professing my affection for someone on this public platform that I have?
Has anyone ever thought it was embarrassing?
I've seen every shade of it, unfortunately. Like women that I've dated seem to think it's cute and romantic when I tell a good, story about them. But then, if I go a little too far with an intimate detail or if I say that they're snoring, then now it's too much. Now it's not romantic. Now it is creepy.
You pulled back the curtain where you shouldn't have pulled back, right?
Right. So I don't know. I would ask for a little consistency, but not everyone's got a global podcast either. So if you're literally on your roof shouting it out, you're going to have the cops called in you, and that's creepy. But if you're just going around your friend circle saying, like, man, I met this amazing woman. I love her so much. Like, why is that creepy? God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know where that one gets creepy. I mean, I guess this is kind of showing that it's more like, standing in the middle of Times Square. I love this woman, that kind of thing, like wanting the attention to be on her and everything. So,
yeah, again, it comes down to how she feels about you. If she feels the same way, she'll think that's a grand romantic gesture. Otherwise, restraining orders pending. So.
Okay. This one could be a restraining order. This is called threatening to hurt themselves if you don't.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like, I'm going to kill myself if you don't go out with me tonight or something. How is that a romantic gesture?
Threatening to hurt themselves if you don't date them. Okay?
I would bleed for you.
Yeah, I think that's it, Brewski. That is fucking creepy, dude. Remember Ryan Gosling in The Notebook? He threatened to jump off the Ferris wheel if Rachel McAdams didn't go on a date with him. Romantic or creepy?
Brewski. No, I do not remember that because I did not see that movie.
I've never seen that movie yet in my entire, not 1 minute of it. So no.
No,
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it happened there. He's on the Ferris wheel and he's like, if you don't go on a date with me, I'll jump off this Ferris wheel right now. Which I think if it's Ryan Gosling, then it's romantic. Okay, if it was me, you or Brewski being like, I'll jump off this fucker. If you don't go on a date with me.
What you just said is true. Like if you're Brad Pitt or if you're Jennifer Aniston or whatever, you get away with a lot more than the average looking dude.
Totally, dude. Yeah, I don't ever see anyone complaining when Brad Pitt knocks on their door and just happens to know where they live, right?
Hey, listen, I told you already that I'm a straight guy, but I want that non-consensual kiss from Brad Pitt, tongue and everything. He'd get away with it.
But if Brad Garrett did it to you, the
No,
guy from
no,
Never Loves
no.
Raymond, that wouldn't work as well.
So sexy.
Not at all.
As a general rule of thumb, I would not recommend, invoking self-harm in any dating scenario. Usually sign of mental troubles on your part.
This says if your date is threatening to harm themselves if you don't go out with them, steer clear. That's probably good advice. Oh, we've all heard that real romantic tale about breaking up with somebody and them threatening to commit suicide, right? Like, is that romantic?
No.
Never works. No.
Never works. Never gets out there.
I've told a few women, go ahead.
This is called pursuing you, even though you're taken. All right. I don't find that romantic. First of all, I have a partner, and if you know that she's taken and you're still going after her, not only are you fucking with her, but now you're fucking with me because you're being the disrespectful asshole to both of us.
Sure.
So, yeah, at first,
That's a bro code violation.
completely. And we should follow that code.
But the thing about it is that if that guy's your friend, he won't do that. If he doesn't like you, but he has to pretend he likes you so he can be around you and your chick, that's when that sort of thing happens. A real friend wouldn't do that to you.
I think it's okay to wait for that breakup and then jump on the opportunity. But no, you don't go hitting on a woman in a relationship, home wrecker.
So you mean like a guy who used to be my friend who got pissed off that after 3 years of him and his chick being broken up and him telling me he didn't want to be back with her or anything like that, and she and I ran into each other at a bar in Seattle watching bands play, and we hooked up that night, and he got all pissed off and stopped talking to me because he's just, that's disrespectful.
No, you did that fine. That was 3 years. That's plenty of time waiting. But
Plenty of time. We talked about surprising her at home. How about surprising her at her office? You went on a date with someone over the weekend, and you're planning on seeing them again in a couple of weeks. However, they can't wait that long. That's why they've turned up unannounced at your office. In La La Land, this might be seen as somewhat sweet, but in reality, it's giving you a bad feeling, and it should. It's creepy.
listen, if it's between the first and second date, then yeah, that's probably way too early. But if you've gone out on a few dates, there's something established, she's told you where she works, like, I don't know, if you send flowers or if you stop by and say, hey, you want to grab lunch today? I was just in the neighborhood. Like, if you're not doing it in a, aggressive sort of way, then again, intentions, everybody. If somebody's intentions are good, why do you want to scrutinize them like that?
I think this is kind of pointing out, though, that because, like, if you're dating someone and it's going well enough to have another couple of dates or whatever to try and see where this goes, and they show up at your office, like, what if one person is feeling it more than the other? They could still be dating, but what if one person is feeling it way more than the other? That might be kind of creepy for you to just show up at my work, and now I got to stop what I'm doing and maybe get in trouble depending on where you work, right?
I guess, but handle like an adult. Like, hey, Roger, thanks for stopping by, but no, I got plans today or I can't get away from work, but, I'll call you later. Like, why does it have to be creepo factor?
Because you're stalking them is what I'm taking from this,
Yeah. Now, listen, I know we have unique jobs, but should I feel the same way about women listening to this podcast or listening to me on the radio before or after a first or second date? Because that happens every goddamn time.
Well, it's out there, though. It's because it's out there. I mean,
so what if she's a
out
waitress and you stop by Applebee's? You know she works there. She's got a public job. She deals with the public. You're a creep now because you're at table 7?
I don't know how to rebut you, but it is. I feel like it's different. I just don't know how to say it right now.
By the way, I'm not saying any of those women that have done it are creepy. I find it flattering. Like, I'm glad you're interested, but it's a similar thing. You're stopping by my job and peering through the window, basically.
Yeah, I guess so, dude. Stop listening. Is that what you're telling people?
I just said I don't look at it that way. I'm just saying that there's an equivalency there of stopping by someone's work to be like, hey, how's it going?
So if she works at a restaurant or something like that, and you go there,
Yeah.
and you're going there to actually eat and that sort of thing, and a byproduct of that is that you see her and that sort of thing. Are you supposed to like just not patronize that restaurant until she tells you it's okay to do so?
Right. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yes.
But are you also going to sit at another table and just listen to her conversations with people? Like,
But that's not what this is saying. This is saying stop by the work. It's not saying that you're sitting down at a table and listening to her conversation. It's saying stop by. So you're adding to it to make it creepy.
No, you just said you're going to patronize a restaurant, so you're going to be sitting there listening to her. I mean, what if you're sat next to her? Is that creepy?
You don't know, understand it. You could be on the other side of the restaurant. I'm sorry, you're in the same building, so you can't be in the same building as her unless she's giving you permission, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that.
Yes, you are, but you're
no, I'm just reading. No, I'm reading the article.
Yes, you are. You're backing it up.
Listen, if I don't ask you questions about this article, the conversation will be over in 30 seconds. I'm not saying that I agree with it. I have to ask questions.
I don't get your scenario. If she's waiting tables, why is that me eavesdropping on her? Why would she sit down next to me and have some conversation? Like,
I mean, if she's waiting tables and you're sitting 2 tables down and you're just watching her work, and you don't even say hello, hello to her.
But you're assuming
that's a little weird.
You're assuming someone's going to sit there and stare at her while she's working. How do you know that you don't go there to eat, and then you know what? Maybe you catch a glance of her and you say, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" But you're there to eat.
No, you of course have to say hello to the woman. You can't just hide in the corner of the table.
Nick is treating this scenario as in you go to this restaurant, you order food, but the reason why you're there is so you can sit there and stare at her while she works. He's making it creepy when it doesn't need to be, because you can go there and eat and that sort of thing, and she's working, but you're not there being creepy. Is what I'm saying.
I agree. If she's an insurance saleswoman and you just show up in the cubicle next to her, then, that's definitely creepy. But what if my girlfriend's a stripper? Am I not allowed to go to that strip club? Come on. Is that supporting her or is that creepy?
Well, I mean, she's laid it all out on the table at that point. Anyone can see her naked, right? So I'm just saying, dude, that this is how women feel. All right.
I don't care how women feel.
Well, that's why you're single. If you don't care how women feel, I mean,
because if you're being unreasonable, I'm not going to care about how you feel. If you're being unreasonable, I'm not going to worry about it.
That's the difference. That's the difference. I can respect that. I can understand that some of these things are just on this list, and I'm creating conversation. Let's see. How about not taking no for an answer? Consent?
Okay, that's a problem right there. That's a big problem.
Okay, but you're assuming that's sexual. I don't know if it is, but let's see.
No, it's not sexual. It could be anything. She says no on a date, and you keep pressing her.
Come on. This says consent is the number one priority at any physical situation between 2 adults.
I'm just challenging you to a kickboxing match. It's not perverted.
If you've told your date no multiple times and they're not accepting it, there's a chance they're waiting for you to break down and say yes. The trouble is, dragging a yes out of someone after they've repeatedly told you no is not romantic or even remotely acceptable. Why is this on this list, dude? My God.
No, this is not a romantic gesture if you're browbeating anything out of a woman. Sexual or going to a hockey game, I don't care.
But you know what it is? It's kind of that old way of thinking that some people still think of, where she means no, but she really means yes.
Right.
She just wants you to be able. She wants to be able to have like no, stop, don't do that. She really wants you to. But if she says yes right away, then you're gonna think she's a slut or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's definitely a difference between no and no, stop it. Like, I get that, but I'm just wondering, it said a physical scenario, so no. One no. Plus, you're probably some sort of weird sociopath. I mean, if a woman tells me no, I would be so deflated and embarrassed. Like, I'm not broaching that again. Then
if no turns you on, there's something wrong with you, right?
Well, let's look at the former president. You know how he talked about someone else's wife when he said, "I moved on her like a bitch."
Yes,
and grab him by the pussy, all that stuff. And he says, I start kissing them, and they don't stop you. You can do anything you want when you're a celebrity. So I have a feeling that he's one of those people that if a woman says no, he's still going because he doesn't care what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely people out there like that. We hear about, I mean, out of all the sexual assaults and the statistics show in this world, how much date rape and every other kind of rape there is out there, it obviously happens a lot. So maybe it's worth mentioning in the list. It's not romantic to not take no for an answer.
All right.
How about grabbing your arm and guiding you somewhere? You ever done it?
What's the context?
Come with me.
Is she drunk and am I helping her so she doesn't fall over?
That's a good question, Brewski.
Yeah, but
I've done that.
I think what they're talking about is, in the old days, like dude would like walk up to his lady and like kind of hold the back of her arm a little bit and then like guide her over to the table and then sit her down and push her chair in and all that sort of thing.
Says she'll have the beef, orders for her. Yeah, that whole way of being chivalrous, right?
No, the ordering for her part's bad, but like. Listen, Kennedy, I were just out yesterday where we were holding hands and we walked through sort of a narrow pathway and I was kind of guiding her like, let's go this way. Like, that can't obviously be creepy or something, but if I'm trying to force her into my van, then that's probably not okay.
Let's see how they scale this, okay? Because maybe that's creepy. I don't know. If you've consented, that's one thing. So you would have had to ask her first. Do you mind going through this little pathway with me? Right, is what it's saying, basically. I see this hairdresser on TikTok, and she's an amazing hairstylist. And the reason I'm into it, obviously, is because of my background with my family and stuff. But she does amazing artistic hair work, and she shows from the beginning and then, the transformation. She always asks beforehand, they talk for a minute and then she says, do you mind if I touch you? Because, like wanting to touch their hair. And I keep watching it thinking like, they sat down, they know where they are. Like you have to touch them. Like, do you really have to get consent there? And I understand, let's go above and beyond to make everyone feel comfy. But do you mind if I touch your head? Thank you for coming to my hair salon.
Right. No, I've seen some of that and the people reacting to it that, obviously it's okay if you touch my hair. I just sat down to get a freaking haircut. That's also one of those, what's the freaking harm? Like they're trying to be overly polite or overly politically correct. So that's fine. It's not really screwing my day up. So sure, you can touch me. Go ahead. I don't think it's worth public flogging like this woman's gone through.
Right. This says, if you've grabbed the arm without asking, that's an entirely different thing. Perhaps they've offered to walk you to your car after the date and you agreed. You weren't outside of the restaurant for 2 seconds before they grabbed your forearm and guided you into the right direction. This is not romantic. This is uber creepy.
And by the way, I don't think you should grab someone's hand. I would never grab a woman by like the upper arm or something. That is a little condescending and weird. I mean, unless she's tripped and fallen or something, or I'm helping you, on slippery ice maybe. But otherwise, no, just hold their hand.
Or like Brewski said, if you're holding them up if they've had too much to drink, getting them to bed or something, Sure. So yeah,
the roofies kick in too early and you got to get them to the car. Like I get it.
Yeah, some of these things on this list are obviously, if you have bad intent. Yes, it's creepy. If you don't, it may be found loving. But this is all set up in a 1 to 3 date area. That's where this is coming from.
Honestly, there's a big difference, though, between first to second date window and second to third date window. Because if you're going on a third date with someone, you should know that you're into them and you want to see where this is going. Don't screw with a guy or a girl and be on a third date before you decide. I had that happen in this last round of dating. It was on the fourth date that the woman was like, yeah, actually, I'm not into this. Like, why are we going on 4 dates?
With the sandwiches?
Yes, yeah, the dirt.
Okay, yeah.
That didn't find me physically attractive after 4 dates. Like, thanks. You didn't see me on the last 3 dates?
Or my profile? Like, seriously? I mean, that one's a little odd, but I do understand that there are people who obviously take longer at really getting to know someone. Like, you've always heard, like, people tell me all the time, like, you're great at making fast friends with somebody. Because, like, I could really get behind somebody if I'm at an event, like a cocktail hour or something. I can usually find something interesting in a person to kind of rally around and have conversation about. But some people, need way more time to scooch in and get to know their character. I mean, it's just different for everybody.
Physically attractive, you know right away. Now, whether you like them as a person and want to spend more time around them beyond the physical, that I can see taking a few more dates and that sort of thing. Because maybe the first 2 dates, everyone's kind of on their best behavior. And then after that, when the guard gets let down, that's when they kind of really show who they are. But
I totally agree with that. The scenario I was on, it was the opposite. She was like 4 dates in. She's like, I love you as she didn't say love, but she said, I really like you as a person. You know, you're easy to hang out with, talk to, but I don't find you physically attractive. Yeah. And I would agree, Brewski. Like, honestly, it's online dating. All you saw was my picture. So before the first date, you should know if you're physically attracted or not.
Or at least, exactly, the first time you see me and spend some time with me, you've seen me walk, you've seen maybe me drink something or eat something, be around me. You've seen my physical body.
You smell me. I now have good hygiene, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. You know right then and there whether you're attracted to somebody physically.
A woman knows within usually the first minute or two if they want to sleep with you or not.
I don't know that I agree with that.
So when I was at Viva this past year, I met this woman at the singles mixer, and we ended up talking for a little bit. And then later on, we met up and we danced a little bit together and that sort of thing. This is the woman that kind of made a face and said, well, I guess at least you have a job, when I told her I was driving for Uber. Like,
that bitch. Yeah.
So when I saw her that night and subsequent nights, she's in a dress and she's wearing black and she looks great and everything. So I have become friends with her on Facebook since then. She posted a picture of her by a pool yesterday. She looked a lot better at Viva when she was in that dress and everything than she does, with less clothes on. And now I feel a little less, I was more attracted to her physically then.
In person.
But
Right.
now I'm just kind of like, maybe not as much,
No, that's fair. But no, I've heard that from a lot of women. And I would actually argue it's probably true for guys too. Like when you meet someone in person in the first minute or two, how do you not know if you're attracted to them or not?
Yeah.
And how after an hour or two, you're like, hey, wait a minute, now I think she's hot. Like, attraction's usually pretty immediate.
Physical attraction, is pretty immediate, but you may be, like we've talked about before, you may become way more physically attracted to them after you get to know some of their good qualities too, So that woman should have known physical upfront attraction for sure. On the other side of that, even if you're dating for 5 or 6 months, aren't you still getting to know each other? I mean, you can date while trying to get to know each other. You don't have to go to the third or fourth date and be like, we know each other well enough, to continue this. But you're still learning about each other, right? I mean, why do we have to put it all into one little 3 or 4 day thing?
No, you definitely get to know someone emotionally and psychologically and all that more over time. But if there's not a foundation on the front end, I don't think it's going to form 6 months down the road.
All right, we're not going to grab arms to guide women anywhere without consent. This is a consensual world, and I don't say that lightly, okay? How about love?
Okay.
Did you say is a leash okay? Oh, God dang, dude. No, I guess with
That's
consent.
how I guide my women around. So.
Right? Yeah, I don't know about that. I've never seen you do it, but how about love bombing? Have you ever heard of it?
No.
You want to text them all the time, talk to them on the phone, surprise them with small gifts, and share your affection on social media. However, there is such a thing as too much attention if your partner is love bombing you, when you might feel like all they're doing is thinking about you, doing things for you, and wanting to be around you. You feel smothered and overwhelmed. This is creepy. Thoughts?
Yep, this is a brand new notion that, again, Hollywood has put this perception out there that love at first sight and running off to get married or go on the romantic trip right away, that these are all supposed to be good things. But, this new concept of love bombing, that if I fall in love quickly or I start expressing these things, that all of a sudden this is creepy. I thought that was the goddamn point of dating. And, apparently love at first sight has become a creepy thing now. Or love at fourth sight.
Love at fourth sight, dude. Listen, I don't know if it's creepy. I don't know if that's creepy. I mean, I think if you want to say, you're really enjoying someone or feel like you hear all kinds of people. You do hear these stories where they're like, we've been married 65 years. I knew as soon as I saw him, I wanted to be with him forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a limit, though. It's kind of like you always tell people to know your limit when it comes to gambling or drinking and that sort of thing. Yeah,
Sure.
That's the same thing with when you're dating somebody. There's such a thing as doing too much and going way overboard.
But what's that fine line? If you're falling in love and you want to express it or whatever, like I can say it once or twice, but if I say it 4 times, it's too much. Like you're painting people in corners.
No, but what I'm saying though is that like if you're texting or calling her at work multiple times a day, you know what I mean? Like there are examples where people are doing too much.
What's a little? What's a lot? If I text you once a day, someone would be like, once a day? Others want to hear from you 10 times a day, and that's fine. I'm just saying, it's such an open range.
I mean, you should be reading the language of somebody. Do I know that they're feeling as excited about this as I am? And then you can, kind of place yourself from there. Maybe stuff like social media posts like this mentions, like you might wait a while for that because all of us on this show know that posting a picture of a woman without getting her approval or consent can be dangerous.
And it comes down to intentions, but I just don't like this sort of wide open spectrum of a little is okay, too much is not okay, but I'm not going to define what any of that means.
Yeah. It's a minefield, this whole dating and relationship thing. My brother is funny. He's a large man, 6'2", a big, hefty boy. And he is known for getting drunk. When he is drunk, he is such a close talker.
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. I mean, he's really a close talker, and he doesn't talk quiet, ever. And people have commented on the fact, like, can you give me a little space here?
I got to drink with your brother. I got to drink with him sometimes.
This one says having no sense of personal space. Whether you're affectionate or not, it's nice to have a little space. It's also nice to be with someone who respects your space. You like your partner. You like being close to them, but not to the point where they feel like it's encroaching on their personal space. Whenever they talk, they stand at about 2 inches from your face, and it's starting to feel a bit intimidating and creepy. Don't stand 2 inches from somebody's face while you
Who does that? I mean, listen, it's one thing to have the conversation of like, are you a cuddler? Do you like holding hands? Like that kind of thing. But standing 2 inches away from someone, that's just weird. Unless you're in bed next to each other.
I had this dude that I worked with when I worked at this machine shop with my dad. And he would come over and he would get so close to me that I would take a step away from him after he got that close. And then he would step even closer to me again. And he had really bad breath, too.
Right.
They always do.
Yeah.
Like banging breath, like he was just eating dog crap or something. And it's just like, he's like, why do you keep walking away from me? I was like, I need a little bit of space here. And even after saying that to him, he still did it going forward. And he would get right up close to you, talk to you about something. I can hear you. I'm not hard of hearing. I can understand,
See, my brother's not creepy like that. He just gets excited. He gets excited with the conversation and really wants to get into it. But
like an excited dog or something.
Yes, exactly. It turns out having conversation 2 inches from your partner's face could be deemed as creepy.
Yeah.
How about bumping into you at random places? You've met. This sounds like stalking to me, but you've met up with this person a few times and shared a little about yourself, where you work, what you like to do, and what your ideal Saturday looks like. You haven't gone out with them in a couple of weeks, but you swear that you've bumped into them almost everywhere, at the grocery store, on the way to the office, to your car. Talk about creepy.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that can't be a coincidence, and of course would be creepy if you're orchestrating that. I had this guy in my town this was like a year ago, but I kept running into this dude, and I finally, after like the 6th time it happened in a month, I walked out and I'm like, I'm not stalking you, I swear, but hi again. Like, I don't know why this keeps happening. If it's truly organic like that, then obviously that's just life and circumstance.
How do you know that was organic, dude? Well, maybe that guy was stalking you.
Yeah, could be. I'm a good-looking guy.
But you know what? Though? As someone who used to live in a neighborhood where people were always staying in that particular neighborhood, when Jen and I first started dating, it wouldn't be unusual for me to be out at Charlie's and she happened to be there running with her friends, or we're both shopping at the QFC on the north end of Broadway. And you just gotta, you know what I mean?
You're in a small borough bumping into each other, right? Yeah. That makes sense.
And if that's how you met, by the way, we're always in the same little circle and we keep running, but if you've just met and all of a sudden now you're at the same grocery store and same coffee shop, then it's probably weird.
And also, like, if you live like Steve is so far out there, or not so much anymore now, but when he was, if he lived an hour away and he kept bumping into you, like,
I just happen to be in the neighborhood.
Right? Yeah, again.
Imagine that.
Although, you remember the line in Singles, I happen to be nowhere near your neighborhood. And that was such a grand gesture that the guy stopped by your house. Again, Hollywood is bullshit is what I think.
Yeah. It seems like they're giving us a lot of bad advice. This is funny, and you have to take it in the context of the movies. This is called throwing rocks at your window. We've all seen it.
Sitcom growing up, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, we've all seen it in the movies. The lover who can't think of anything else to do but turn up at the love interest's house and throw rocks at their window to get their attention. It's at average at best an ideal theory in the movies, but absolutely horrendous when applied. They better be prepared to pay you for the broken window.
Right. I was going to say, just my homeowner instincts right now. We're like, no, it's my freaking window. What are you doing? Come knock on the door. What the hell's your problem?
You can't use a pine cone. Like, why are we throwing rocks? That was never a good idea.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that line in there's a Nerf Herder song where he says, "Sorry, I jacked off outside of your window." I think there's a little problem there. Like, that's how you're getting her attention. You're not throwing rocks at the window. You're just standing out there just pounding away, Just
wanted to be close to you while I was going to Pound Town with my meat.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you're in high school and you can't go knock on the door because the parents are home or something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's still fantasy world only. Come on.
Not in your late 40s. Can you throw rocks at windows? All right.
I'm going to pick Kennedy up for the next date that way. Just chuck rocks from the outside.
I'm outside. Ready? Yes. Let us know how that one works too. How about calling you in the middle of the night? When was the last time you took a call from someone in the middle of the night? When was the last time you thought it'd be a good idea to call someone in the middle of the night? Case in point, he might want to call and say he's been dreaming of you, but there's a good chance you won't appreciate being disturbed at such an ungodly hour. This sounds like two people who aren't on the same page. Okay. Yes. I mean, because if we are loving and digging each other as much as each other, then I don't see this as creepy. I might see it as like, what are you doing calling me in the middle of the night? And if someone that I was really vibing with was like, I just had to tell you I loved you. I can't stop thinking about you. Like that would be all right, in my opinion. But on a third date, fourth date, you can't call people in the middle of the night unless it's for a booty call. And then you take your chances. Okay?
Yes.
Listen, if you're in crisis, I guess call me at 3 a.m. But in this day and age, it would be one thing if you send me a text like, hey, I'm awake, or, can we call? Or it's not, something like that. But actually phoning them in the middle of the night, you better be ready to jump off a bridge.
You wouldn't think that if you woke up and a girl you were really vibing with was like, I just can't stop thinking about you. I mean, I'm really enjoying your penis and I'm thinking about you. You wouldn't be okay with that?
In a text? No. If I wake up to a text, or if you want to see if I happen to be up at 2 a.m. and you want to talk, that's fine. But no, don't call me. And I've actually had women ask me before, like, hey, what if I woke you up at 3 a.m. just to fool around? My answer's always been yes, but no one's ever done it. And I don't know what kind of mood I would be in. Like, we couldn't wait till the morning.
Right. Oh, the freaking night, really? That's passion, dude. She wants you so bad. She can't wait. So those are the romantic gestures that are actually kind of creepy, according to this story. And I don't know, do with it what you will. I'm not even dating anyone, so it doesn't matter to me.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't try romantic gestures and see how they go over. You should have a much wider, threshold for being creepy, being married. But
They're all great on my end, dude. I mean, I could watch her from outside the house sleeping. Like, I'm not going to get in trouble for any of these, okay? Maybe.
you could chuck rocks at your own window. Yeah.
Right? I could grab her arm and tow her away, and she's not going to think, oh, am I going into a closet, or is he directing me? Like, I can get away with most of these.
Yeah. Listen, I think a lot of this is women, you are setting yourselves up to not be treated romantically and whatnot, because there's so much gray area in all of these things that a lot of good guys will just read that kind of list and say, what? I'm not even going to bother. I don't want to come off as creepy. But then you're in trouble when you don't do something romantic. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big old catch-22, if you ask me.
I think that it has partly to do with why dating numbers are down as a whole.
Yeah.
And there's just more hookups than just dating now, like serious dating.
Yep. It's fun out there, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, we've always said it. Love is a battlefield, dude. You know who said it?
Sure do. Pat Benatar.
That's right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, you can lose a limb, that is for sure. So,
well, we wrap it up, gentlemen, just to keep us all safe. And we'll have another podcast next week. We appreciate you listening. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Brewski.
yes. Is wrapping it up a romantic gesture, or are you insinuating she must have diseases?
No, you're saying I care enough about you that if I have a disease I'm unaware of, I will not give it to you.
Well, that means you're an asshole dating and you have a disease.
No, that I said I'm unaware of. Okay.
Yeah, go get tested. So. Anyways, yeah, thevocalminority.net. Call our comment line, 844-48-VOCAL. And we post stuff on social media, and we spend a lot of hours of our week doing that. So why don't you appreciate those efforts and share them?
Sharing is caring, like we've always said before. Brewski, please.
We love you.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop.